Alright my friends, how you all doing? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to a fresh episode of our City Zoo build, Tropical Wings Zoo. So we're back in TW gang for another fresh episode. I'm going to bring your attention to a couple of things at the start of today's episode. The first one is last episode. That's linked above in case you have missed it, my friends. Feel free to go and check that one out. It was lots of sort of backstage stuff. We were adding bits and bobs, a nice Victorian gardens and stuff like that. And then also, my friends, I want to bring your attention to an update video that went out, and I'm going to link that above. And that's basically talking about all of the plans where Planet Zoo is concerned that I have in the future. Both very close and distant future. Lots of new series, lots of content I want to make, but we had big discussions about Tropical Wings as well and how I really want to try and get an episode out a week. So there might be some changes to the structure, there might be some part builds coming out, there might be some live streams, and then there'll be more episodes like there is today where they're non-animal based, but it's still a huge piece of work to the zoo. So here we are, we're in Tropical Wings and we're going to take a look at what I've done. Now, as I've just mentioned, no animals again today. I realise that this is sort of 3 episodes in a row that there aren't any animals, but fear not, my friends, because when we get to the what's happening next section, I really want you guys to get involved. And, you know, the next few episodes are probably going to be really big builds, some massive projects, because I've kind of been backed into a corner now where I've been left with no choice but to tackle 4 bits of this zoo that are going to be really difficult, but they're probably going to become kind of like the reason why you go to Tropical Wings. They're going to be the big kind of crowd pleasers and the stuff that draws people in. And that's one of the reasons why, again, I've done another non-animal episode, because there were things that I needed to get done and the things I needed to get prepped to kind of know what direction we are going to be going in. So let's jump in and take a look at what I've been doing. Now, we're going to head over this way first, and then we're going to head over this way. I've basically done some work near the Victorian Gardens, and I've also done some work in the Into Asia area. So let's take a look at what I've been up to. Now, as the title of today's episode suggests, it's mainly snack stops and restaurants and that sort of stuff. It's things we really needed to do. I've done a bit of planting and I've kind of made some examples of a few bits as well. Now, first thing I want to bring your attention to is this. Now, obviously, this is just kind of planters that have been put in place, but this is kind of like the direction that all of our pathways are going to come off. We're also going to have a big piece that comes off this way. The reason for this is, obviously, we know the sea lion habitat's going up here, and I kind of wanted to split the paths because we're going to have one path go one side, one path go the other, and there's going to be kind of like a section where you're going to be able to walk and be pretty close to the sea lion. So I've kind of started putting all the prep in place for how all of the pathways going to splinter off, basically. So last proper episode we did this, didn't we, gang? And I felt like we kind of needed to finish the area off. So I've been working on, you know, planters and getting trees and all that sort of stuff in. So as you can see, I've added more planters here and here. And then I kind of mentioned that I wanted to add like a sort of snack stop or a restaurant or something, didn't I? So first things first, I kind of got all these planters all kind of filled in over here. I realised that as much as I wanted this here, and I wanted to get some seating in, we couldn't fill it all with seating because we do have this access for our staff back here. So I needed to keep the gangway clear, but this is what I have come up with. This is our snack stop for over in this area. Basically, I just used a bunch of wooden pieces. I used the hamburger kind of stall that you can have now. Obviously, I do still have the mod installed that gets rid of the boxes because I use that for the gift shops, but I have actually started using these stalls because there's some nice little details on there. For instance, the hamburger bits and bobs. But the way I've kind of built this is that the small kitchen would maybe be in here. You're going to see, like, basically, like there's a doorway there. I'll take you so you can have a look in all of its detail in a moment. But yeah, and then basically there's like burgers, and what else have I put on here? Sausage rolls, chips, and then chocolate crisps and drinks, basically. Just a nice little sort of snack stop I thought would be perfect in here. Nothing too big. I really feel like for a change, I have got the size bang on. it's either too large or too small a lot of the times when you're playing Planet Zoo, because of the nature of the size of the pieces. But I feel like with this one, I think I absolutely nailed it. I'm still umming and ahhing if I have with the other ones I'm going to show you in a moment, but I really like them. But I will let you guys be the judge. So yeah, this is kind of like a little stall here. So if I take you inside, as you can see, done all the little cabinets and whatnot at the bottom. Got a little prep area. I probably do need to do some like decoration on the wall, maybe like a tile type design, if I can. But to be honest with you, it's not that big a deal. And if we spin it around this way, you can see this is the countertop. A few little lights in here and whatnot, and as you can see, kind of like the roof and whatnot. I didn't go too overboard because we don't really take too much notice of all this stuff, do we? There's a doorway here, and I haven't done the kitchen, but the kitchen would be in here, basically. I haven't done it because I just thought we can't see it. I'm only going to do the stuff that we can see. There's really, really no point in wasting all those pieces on areas that you don't really get to look at. So that would be the case. And then you go out this way, and this basically, that's the way in and out that our staff would go, basically. We have got a little section behind here where there's a couple of bins basically, and then a load of little like props and whatnot. Maybe these are like little barriers they would put up on a busy day to kind of like divert the traffic in and out of the stall. And then we got some other barriers as well in case we need to fence the area off. And then on top of that, I made this lovely little table that's got a few little bits and bobs on. Now I don't usually do this in my episodes, but I don't anticipate this being the longest of episodes, so I'm going to show you basically how I've managed to achieve this. The napkins in particular, because I know I'm going to get asked a question about this, so I might as well tell you, gang. So if I was to click on this, if we go in, these white pieces here, I'll just select that piece and just go up with it. So these, gang, are the, see the 2D fonts? So basically there is a comma and a full stop that you can use. And if you line enough of them up and you get them all in the right place, you can make them look like napkins, basically. And then I made the little, the little housing that it sits in using the little, using these little struts, basically. So yeah, that's really, really simple. A little helpful tip for you there. You can make these things, these little squeezy bottles, by using the metal pieces and then recolouring. But what I will say is, because they're quite long, you do need to disguise underneath. And I've done that by basically making it look like we've got some boxes of stuff under there that potentially the staff might need to dig into. And then to achieve the straws, there's like a little icicle piece that you can basically sink, and then I've put it inside a couple of gutter ends, and that's achieved that, basically. And then you get these little flags that are in the European pack, I do believe. You can recolour them into one colour, and then yeah, you can just build this lovely kind of like little mesh design, and there you go. You end up with this lovely little sort of table design, and I really feel like it adds something to the area as well. I really, really like it. Because if you think about it, if you don't have a little table like that, maybe this area ends up being a bit plain, to be honest with you, because you're just going to have the shop sitting there. For anyone that wants to know as well, the little awning was achieved by using one of those banner decals that you get with the base game, and you can recolour them into one colour, and that's essentially how I've done that, basically. It does go quite high, so I had to hide it underneath these, but you know, you can find your way around these things. That's kind of like my way around it, but I really, really love that little hut. I love the details on it. I really do feel like the size is really, really good as well. And then when you zoom out, you can see it really sits in this little spot lovely. You know, a few little tables and chairs all put in for our guests and whatnot. And I really feel like, you know, we have our emergency exit there and whatnot as well. I feel like it was kind of like the perfect place. We needed a little pit stop here because the closest thing that we had was obviously flamingo flavours. So that was over here. We have got a little sort of ice creamy cart type thing now. Some of these ice cream carts though, I'm probably going to redesign now because I feel like with the new little you know, boxless desk ones. I don't know why, I can't remember what they're bloody called, but the ones that are like without all that stuff and they got the little details on, I really like them, and I'd like to maybe make some more like little huts like this and place these around the zoo rather than loads of these ice cream carts, because I think in a UK based zoo we probably wouldn't have that many of them basically. So that's all I've done kind of in this area. As you can see, I'm starting to really tie up all of the pathway and whatnot. It's really up and down here. Before building, I usually kind of level an area out, and I totally forgot with this, and it's really, really up and down. So there's lots of like deviations in the terrain, like as you can see, there's like a very slight one there. We've got a step here. There's loads of that I really need to go and work on and basically like get it all tied up. As you can see, look, I'm trying to make them sloped because I have got to think about, you know, with this being realistic, disabled guests and whatnot. So there is that to think about. I've added another waypoint. I'm not sure if this was here before, but I've just added this here because I actually think this is going to be really helpful, because there's going to be, you know, bits and bobs all kind of going off in this area. I'm still to rework a bit of this planting in here. I didn't get around to that because I was too busy doing other things. So now we can head over to the other area, and remember I said that I wanted to put in a bathrooms and I wanted to get like a restaurant or a pit stop or something in over near where the Komodo dragons are in the Into Asia area. And I've done that now. I've been calling this Indo-Asia because it was going to be kind of like Indonesian kind of animals, wasn't it? But because we're going to go a bit more on top of that now, sort of Indian species and so on, I'm calling it Into Asia. I think it kind of fits the area a bit better. So if we come around this way, I'm going to give you a little snapshot from a distance first, and then we'll dive on in and I will show you. Now, I've sort of semi-themed these little huts, and they've all got their own purpose. You're going to see that one side's kind of got this nice coloured path and the other side hasn't. Now, the reason for that is, remember, this side over here, I said was going to be overflow seating. It was going to just be excess seating in case the main area was busy. So that's why I've done that as normal path. Now, I asked lots of people for like lots of ideas of what to do with this space, and you all gave me really good ideas. You know, put aviaries in there, you could put this, that and the other. Now, I tried to do that. It actually was a lot less space than it first appeared. There actually wasn't that much room. So instead what I've done is I put a toilet block there, I filled it out with plants, and then behind the toilet block there's like an additional kind of like little shed in the backlot area with a kind of bit of mess and whatnot. So I'm going to show you that. It basically just, it looked a bit like I was trying to stuff way too much stuff in one area when I was trying to implement all your ideas. I think we've got more than enough room in the rest of the zoo that it doesn't really matter. And this can just be a kind of like a guest service area with the toilets and the food and drink stops and whatnot. Now, I haven't got all of the information boards and all that sort of stuff done because they take time. I've been concentrating on the build. I've had quite a busy week, to be honest. So that's one of the reasons why it's going to be a shorter episode and there isn't as much for me to talk about, but like I've already said, the next few episodes are going to be mega. So basically, this is what I've been working on. I've done these little shacks over this side with the seating and whatnot, and then over this side I've done a toilet block. Now, we had a big terrain deviation here, and it was a little bit of a challenge, but I've decided to do this lovely kind of staircase and, you know, wheelchair access area. I actually love the way this has come out. I really love the way that we got the curved staircase. It works all the way across because it gives the impression that this whole area can be walked on, and as we know, it can't, because I obviously strategically put path in just certain places, but it makes it look that way. And so this is a good way, and this is a good tip for filling out your plaza areas. Don't just, if you're making custom floors like I do, I know not everybody does this, but if you are making custom floors like I do, don't just put your path, your custom path, like your plaster pieces, whatever it is you're using, over the bits that are walkable. Extend it over into grass areas as well and fill out spaces, and then you'll make your plaza areas look a bit more, look a bit larger, and they'll fill out and look a bit more attractive as well, in my opinion. I do think that's probably a good tip where kind of trying to get these custom plazas to work. And I've mixed up the materials that we've used here. I've obviously been going with this this stone design a lot, haven't I, throughout the whole zoo, because it's kind of like Tropical Wings theme. But here, I wanted to change it up. I've added, you know, some wood. We've had this nice trim here, and you know, we've got this wood like at the back as well. I have left all this a bit garish. I know it's not great to look at the moment, but until I know what I'm doing here, there's no point in me finishing it off, because this could be anything that goes next to it. What I will say is we do have an access door for a backlot area here, and as you can see, I've started to kind of tie all this up, and I'm trying to work this way because we know what animal's going off the back there, basically. So I'll start over here with the kind of like toilet and overflow area. So as you can see, we've kind of used this planter again. I've used these two big planters to kind of break the stairs up. I thought it was a nice way to kind of like break that up. But, as you can see, like your guests can, walk down the stairs should they wish, or they've got their slant in the middle, and it's really, really gentle, and that's actually on the main path. I'll give it away now. That's actually the bits that's on the main path there, and then we do have, a few kind of like that splinter off and go other places, basically. Obviously, the benches, wherever there's a bench, there's path, because they only sit on the pathways, but that's kind of like the main path. That's this bit here that kind of comes up and it joins and goes all the way through, basically. So it's probably the bit that's going to see the most traffic. But what I like about the area as well is obviously you've got seating that's a bit higher up and lower, and I love that. I really like the terrain differences in the game. I used to really struggle with it when I first started playing, but now I really enjoy like messing around with the terrain. Like, for instance, this. And can I just say as well how good does Komodo Kingdom look off in the distance? That level up above. So if you're sitting here eating, you could probably be looking up there thinking, I wonder what's up there, and getting excited about going up into Komodo Kingdom. I think it looks really, really good, off up in the distance up there. And then, but if we switch it round, you'll see this toilet design is very, very similar to the one that we've got over near our cranes and the Victorian Gardens. I just made it slimmer. I made it a slightly smaller bathroom area because, again, we just didn't have a lot of space over here. Now, as you can see, I said I was going to fill this out, didn't I? And I was going to make this kind of like vegetational sort of sound barrier between the okapi and this area. I feel like I've achieved it quite nice. I'm probably going to actually throw one more tree in there, to be honest with you. I didn't realise there was as big a gap there. And then I've made it a bit more attractive along the edge of the path with some like bushes and some plants and whatnot. And I feel like we've really, really kind of hammered that home. I haven't put this in yet, this plant in here, because every time I kind of added something, I just didn't really like the way it looked. So I think I need to be a bit strategic about the way I do it, to be honest with you, because I want it to feel like a forest trail, but at the same time, I want it to feel like there is some space. I'm not sure what I mean by this, but yeah, I tried, basically. So yeah, like I say, it's very, very similar to the toilet design over the back. I've just changed the design on the doors ever so slightly. I've been kind of experimenting with like custom door design and whatnot, and I quite like this kind of design that I've come up with. It's just using your plastic pieces, basically, and sinking them in, and then you can get your like the square sign boards. You can put your custom signs on and then just kind of like build it around it, and I feel like you kind of get these really, really cool designs. This now is all connected up, so this back lot is now all connected to the main path, so our staff can walk through here. So as you can see, it's quite dense with the foliage and whatnot. And then if we come around this way, you will remember we had this little stop here because I wanted to have the sort of light there. And then we kind of got this heap of junk, basically, that sits back here. I feel like this happens in places like zoos and, anywhere like this. You always end up with one area where we'll put it there and we'll get rid of it later kind of thing. And this is kind of one of those areas where it's all kind of bits of construction goods and whatnot that are left over, maybe from building Komodo Kingdom and whatnot. And we've got this shed here, we've got another shed, little bin, loads of like pallets and whatnot. And I just feel like just adding little details like that, it kind of makes an area feel a bit more like alive, doesn't it? So we kind of got all that done. And then behind here, I've been putting in all the curbs basically, and I've just started doing all of the road markings. And once they're all in, this area will be pretty much complete, to be honest with you. And I'm absolutely buzzing about that because this area has kind of been a work in progress for a long, long time now. And then if we just fly over this side, so you can see what I've done for the little food stalls over here. So I didn't want to do like a big kind of shop, and I wanted it to be in this like kind of sort of semicircular kind of design when I started. So I've decided to do 3 separate huts. one, you're going to get your coffee and hot drinks in. One's just going to be for like cold drinks and snacks, and then the other one's going to be maybe something like, I don't know, cakes and ice creams or something. I'm undecided on these two. This one's going to be drinks, obviously, and a few bits and bobs because I've put these little bits on the outside. I'm undecided on the middle one. But as far as the coffee's concerned, what I've done is I did this one because I wanted to show you kind of like an example of what they're going to look like, essentially, once those screens are on. So that's basically it. Your menu one side, I've done like a little logo this side for the coffee. Your Java get roasted. So that's what we've got on that side. And yeah, we've got like a little menu with all your prices and whatnot for all your different coffees and your hot drinks. Again, I've put one of those tables over here, just the napkins and whatnot this time. And then at the back of these little huts, I've kind of done like a little I've done like a little bit of planting and whatnot that's kind of like all sort of overgrown and whatnot, like in this little wooden sort of planter, as we were kind of going with that design. And so I kind of just filled all of that out basically. It disguised a little bit of ugliness that we had with this sort of fence design that I've used back here. But yeah, if I was to show you kind of what they look like on the inside, you'll see we've obviously got our little door and whatnot, and then you know, your little desk. And you've got a bit at the back, which I do intend to kind of put some pieces on there and maybe hang a few bits on the wall. But it's such a small little hut that I didn't want to go too overboard. My idea for these little huts is to kind of have these here, and then in this little backstage area, I might just have a small little building where they keep all of their overflow, basically all their goods and whatnot. So if they ever run out of something, they can just pop into this little hut. It's all like maybe refrigerated and whatnot, and they can just pop to the little hut and then go back and kind of restock, basically, is how I see these kind of like playing out. But they're all very much the same. They're just copy and pasted, but I just use different shops inside, basically. That's what I've done. Tried to use shops that we didn't already have in the zoo to kind of give us some variety. And then I've kind of gone with this kind of wooden and rustic design because obviously I'm thinking about that whole Asian vibe. And they kind of like recycle a lot of materials and whatnot, don't they? So I really kind of like wanted to go down this sort of route. And again, I've gone with that kind of like custom door design again on this side. Slightly different colours and whatnot. But I really like these little huts. And if I was to show you what they're like at night as well, I've done the lighting on these, and I really like the lighting. I think that is a really cool kind of like look, isn't it, for those? You're rarely going to see this because zoos are not really open during like the darker hours, are they? I know they do special events and stuff, zoos, but you're rarely going to kind of see it in this project. But yeah, I did all of the lighting and that for this, and I really feel like this has kind of packed this area out now. I really feel like this is nice, and it's kind of finished this area off, and we can carry on now with kind of Into Asia as and when we get to it, gang. But that is pretty much all I've been up to. Not a lot, I'm afraid, because it's been one of them weeks, but we now get to talk about what's going to happen next. So let's talk about what's coming next, gang. And I'm going to give you a big overview of the zoo because we're going to be talking about multiple potential projects. Now, what I'm going to say at the beginning of this section is that I'm going to leave it up to you guys to decide on what we do. Now, at the time of this video's release, I am also going to be putting a poll on the community page and on Discord, basically. So I would like it if you guys could vote on the poll for what you'd like to see next. I'm literally going to let that poll run for 24 hours because obviously I need to have time to then start the build, basically. So I'm gonna let it run for like 24 hours, and then when we get to the end, I'll count up the votes and we will go from there, and I will build what you guys want. Now, there's gonna be a few choices on what you are going to get to see me build, basically, because as I've already said, I've kind of been backed into a corner on what I'm going to be doing next, and it comes down to 4 choices. We're going to have the safari area, which is essentially going to finish off the Adventure Africa area, basically. And I'm calling it that because I've got to do it as one big build. Because of the way I want it to work, I've kind of got to build it all out at the same time. Now, all of these builds, I'm going to say now, are going to take me a very long time. I mean, they're going to take the best part of a week or 2. So I will obviously do progress reports because I want to get an episode out a week still. But just keep that in mind that these projects are going to take a while to finish because they're all going to be very large projects, okay? So the safari area is the first one in Adventure Africa, and that will finish Adventure Africa off, okay? I know a lot of people have kind of been wanting me to do that, and they've been wanting me to get that area finished, and I've been putting it off because I knew what a big build it was going to be. But I'm at a point now where I have no choice. All of these builds need doing. The second choice is going to be that of our Asian elephants, and we know they're going in this area down here. And the reason I got to do those Asian elephants is because, again, it's going to pack out a very nice chunk of the zoo, and that's kind of the direction we've been working in, isn't it? We're kind of working our way to the edge of the map here, and I'm trying to keep it to this line, to be honest with you. I'm trying to not work past that line at the minute because I need to remember that there are other animals from other parts of the world and whatnot that we still need to work on. So the Asian elephant enclosure is next. The next choice I'm going to say is going to be that of the sea lion experience. And that's basically going to be in here. Okay, that's going to be down in this area down here. I'm not sure how big it's going to be. I'm really not sure just yet. But I have a very set in stone plan. All my plans are really set in stone for all of these animals. I'm just going to throw it out there now. But I have a really set in stone plan. So they're going to go down here. And then the fourth choice is that of the reptile house. Now, the reptile house, I'm actually thinking of doing. Now, it's a weird one, this, because it goes past this line. But I'm actually thinking of doing the reptile house kind of here. Okay? It's going to be about there. About there. I'm not going to say exactly there, but the reptile house is going to be about there. Now, the reptile house is literally going to house all of the reptiles we have left, plus a few mod animals, because there's a few modded animals, reptiles, tortoises, that sort of stuff, that I think are so good and would look amazing inside the reptile house. I really do. So, they're the four choices. I'm pretty set in stone on all of them. The reptile house, I'm really set in stone on how I want the building to look, and it is going to be super unique the way it's going to look on the outside. I did consider doing the reptile house actually. Maybe if it doesn't go here, the reptile house is going to kind of go down here before the sea lions, because I actually feel like the design of the building would fit in quite nice with the Victorian gardens. So yeah, they're kind of actually my two choices. So I've got really firm idea of how I want to do the reptile house. I'm really set in stone with the sea lions. I'm really set in stone with the safari area. And then the elephants, I'm very kind of like 50-50. But I think my whole feeling about the elephants is just that I'm bricking it, because I've got to get the house right. The house is more important than the outdoors. The outdoor area for the elephants, and I don't want to sound big-headed, is super easy, because you haven't got to go too crazy with the foliage. It's pretty much sand. It's, height levels. It's rocks. It's building it all up. It's making it look okay. But the indoor area, because we're building for realism, is going to be carnage. And to get that right is what's kind of scaring me. But all these builds are scaring me. But I have to build one of them. So, my friends, this video is pretty much done now, so head over and vote for the one you would like to see. They are, again, one more time, safari area in Adventure Africa, Asian elephants into Asia, reptile house, lovely job, it could go one or two places, sea lion experience, the start of a semi-water area. Big choices, go vote. And so there you have it, my friends. We are done and dusted for another episode of Tropical Wings Zoo. The cinematics today are a bit strange because you're just looking at shops and there's not really much moving around. But I'm still going to let you see what we've been doing between episodes. Big projects incoming the next few episodes. I don't mind which one I do first. Feel free to get voting on the poll, my friends. Very much appreciated by yours truly. If you're new around here, you enjoyed this video, you've enjoyed this series, be sure to like it and subscribe to the channel for a lot more. There's a lot more Planet Zoo stuff incoming, as I've already said, especially if you were to go and watch that update video. But my friends, I'm done and dusted for today. Stay safe, stay humble. I will see you real soon.